हमारे वक्त की धड़कन, हमारा चिंतन, हमारी भावनाएं, हमारे विचार, कभी कोमल बातचीत तो कभी इंटरेक्शन तेज तर्रार। तय करें मिलकर व्हाट इज रॉन्ग, व्हाट इज राइट। ITV पर अशोक व्यास के साथ इनसाइट टुनाइट। नमस्कार, मैं अशोक व्यास। कार्यक्रम का नाम इनसाइट टुनाइट विद अशोक व्यास। आज के कार्यक्रम में हम बात करने वाले हैं फिर एक बार मोदी सरकार की, और एक दिन में कितनी सक्रिय हो गई सरकार, कितने सारे फ्रंट्स पर एक साथ गतिविधियां सक्रिय रूप से होने लगी मोदी सरकार के मंत्रिमंडल की। बात चाहे अब तक हम ये करें कि जो सार्क समिट जैसी एक प्रकार से शपथ ग्रहण समारोह के बाद भारत में हो गई, जहां अलग अलग देशों के नेताओं के साथ बाइलैटरल बातचीत का अवसर प्रधानमंत्री बनने के ठीक एक दिन बाद मिला प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को, जहां उन्हें पाकिस्तान के राष्ट्राध्यक्ष नवाज शरीफ जी के साथ भी खासी 50 मिनट के लगभग मुलाकात का अवसर हुआ, जिसको लेकर न केवल भारत में बल्कि पाकिस्तान में अन्य देशों से भी इतने सब राष्ट्राध्यक्षों के इकट्ठा होने को लेकर सकारात्मक प्रतिक्रियाएं आ रही हैं। उसके बारे में चर्चा करने के साथ साथ विशेष करके चुनावी अभियान के दौरान जिस तरह के वक्तव्य बांग्लादेश से आए हुए शरणार्थियों के संबंध में प्रधानमंत्री पद के भारतीय जनता पार्टी के दावेदार नरेंद्र मोदी की तरफ से किए गए थे, उसको लेकर बांग्लादेश क्या सोचता है, बांग्लादेशी जनमानस के संबंध में चर्चा करने के लिए हमारे साथ स्टूडियो में उपस्थित हैं एक ऐसे पत्रकार जिन्होंने बरसों तक बांग्ला पत्रिका का संपादन किया है। उनका एक नया टेलीविजन चैनल भी आने वाला है। सबसे पहले मैं स्वागत करता हूं स्टूडियो में हमारे साथ उपस्थित अबू का।
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you here in our studio. And as we were talking few days ago while the election season was in full swing, and you were also sharing the anticipation of Narendra Modi likely to become Prime Minister. So we'll talk to our friend Abu as well as in the first half of this show. From New Jersey, I'll be joined on Skype by Colonel Virender Thawatia, who is keenly observing Indian politics. Thawatia साहब, आपका हमारे स्टूडियो में दर्शकों के साथ बातचीत में बहुत-बहुत स्वागत है।
धन्यवाद अशोक व्यास जी, और सभी दर्शकों को हमारा तरफ से नमस्कार।
So why don't I begin with you? When you heard about the invitation sent out by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to all the head of states of SAARC countries, and the way this swearing-in ceremony was held at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Now, in 2 days, so much has happened. So let us talk right away about your impressions of the conversation that has taken place between India and Pakistan with Narendra Modi as Prime Minister. कल तो
अशोक जी, ये सवाल मुझसे किया आपने?
जी आपसे किया।
अब मेरे को ठीक से सवाल समझ में नहीं आया, थोड़ा सा जोर से अगर बोले तो ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा।
तो आप बताएं कि जो भारत और पाकिस्तान की बातचीत हुई है नरेंद्र मोदी जी के प्रधानमंत्री बनने के ठीक एक दिन बाद, इसको लेकर आप क्या सोचते हैं?
अशोक जी, मेरा मानना ये है कि पहली बात तो नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जो सभी हेड ऑफ स्टेट को यहाँ पे बुला के अपनी स्वेयरिंग सेरेमनी में बुलाया, वो एक बहुत अच्छा काम किया। वेरी गुड, आई वुड से डिप्लोमेटिक इनिशिएटिव दैट ही हैज टेकन। और जैसे कि आपको याद होगा कि पिछले प्रोग्राम में इलेक्शन के रिजल्ट आने से पहले मैंने बताया था कि अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी के खुद के 272 सदस्य नहीं आते हैं तो मोदी साहब भी कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे। लेकिन बड़ी खुशी की बात है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को खुद की मेजोरिटी मिली हुई है, एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू कैन सी द डिफरेंस इन फॉर्मिंग ऑफ द मिनिस्ट्री इनॉग्रेशन सेरेमनी। जो बातचीत हुई है, जो थोड़ी बहुत मुझे खबर लगी है, जिसमें उन्होंने 26/11 के मुद्दे को बताया है, और सुनने में आया कि उन्होंने नवाज शरीफ जी को कहा है कि भाई आप अपनी जमीन से टेररिज्म कराएंगे तो ये बात मंजूर नहीं है।
And I feel both
कहने को मिला है, तो which is a very, I would say, strong step.
And I would also commend Nawaz Sharif ji for having accepted the invitation, and in spite of some opposition initially, as was in the news in Pakistan, within Pakistan, some group of people were not in favor of him attending this swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in India, but finally things worked out in a fashion that he could be present here, and he has shown a lot of openness and promises. He also recollected 1996 probably when Lahore bus as a goodwill gesture was taken in the time of Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So in your presence on Skype as well as with Abu, and as our viewers are excited that now we have heard so many times this slogan, Ab ki baar Modi Sarkar. So when literally this thing has happened, when people have seen this dream being realized, in terms of the visual clarity, we'll share some glimpses where you see Prime Minister Narendra Modi walking towards his chamber, and we'll continue our conversation, but let's take a look at some of these visuals. So not these visuals, we want to go to video right away first. Here we see him walking towards his office, and this is a historical moment, 15th Prime Minister of India, as he is about to take his position, offers his respect to Mahatma Gandhi ji, and then you see as a minimal sort of cluttered, very clean table for Prime Minister, and then he is also going to sign the formalities of his presence in this important office. As within a day of Narendra Modi becoming Prime Minister, the Prime Minister Office website has become full of information. It has become dynamic, and that website on 27th May gave away the names of the with portfolio of the new cabinet ministers, which makes it clear that Rajnath Singh ji is going to take care of home affairs, and Sushma Swaraj has become external affairs as well as overseas Indian affairs minister. The important portfolio of finance and corporate affairs as well as defense is with Arun Jaitley, and we'll talk more about these portfolios and what controversies these portfolios have already started creating, and there are many voices of disagreement about the way allocation of these portfolios have happened. But I, in the presence of my friend Abu as well as with you, Kanala Tavatia, I want to recollect Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been very courteous, and as he was winding up his election campaign, he went back to Delhi to give report of all that he has done to, at that time, the president of Bharatiya Janata Party, Rajnath Singh. The same way he today went to pay his respects to Prime Minister, just previous Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, who led India for 10 years. So here are some visuals, video, wherein we see Narendra Modi ji greeting and meeting Dr. Manmohan Singh. I realize that there has been very clear appreciation of developing and maintaining probably warm relationship as well as giving respect where it is due from our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He shared some warm moments with Prime Minister of Pakistan also. He has been very consistent in communicating through his tweets, etc. So here we see him greeting and offering flowers to Dr. Manmohan Singh ji. He definitely was written in some negative light in terms of his ability to command his cabinet of ministers, and there were references of two powers. And here we are back with you with these visuals as we move towards the other side where he met world leaders, including Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif ji. So we take a look at some of these visuals again, where he's shaking hands with Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Let's take a look. So there is a video also in which we see both of them meeting, and while people are talking about the intricacies of and the complicacies of the relationship between India and Pakistan, if we get that visual, we'll see that the body language of both leaders is quite promising in terms of their openness and their willingness to openly confront all that is on the table there. So we also heard that both of them shook hands for 26 seconds or so, but those references, those minor details are not that significant. As significant is the fact that both of them have decided to open the dialogue on the foreign secretary level. So now with this little bit of background, now back to you, Colonel Tewatia ji. The main issue is we have a lot of voices of dissent in Pakistan as well as in India, and people say that the reason Congress government could not work well with Pakistan was rhetoric that was raised often by Bharatiya Janata Party. So now, in the light of the stand that Bharatiya Janata Party has always taken, and we have heard them asking the government to be strong and firm. So how do you see moving forward? Do you see a lot of hope in our position with Pakistan and Pakistan's position in India?
Ashok ji, thank you for a wonderful question that you asked me. Before I start answering the question, it's a very interesting thing, which I don't know whether you have noticed or not. Today is the 50th death anniversary of India's first Prime Minister.
Right.
50 years ago, a very popular Prime Minister died on this particular day. And after 50 years, we finally find a Prime Minister in position with equal popularity, which is just a coincidence. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The dissent in India and Pakistan, both this side of the border as well as across the border, politicians have used religion and different communities as a vote bank. They have hardly addressed them as citizens of their nation. And that is what has been the policy over past 67 years that we have been independent. With Mr. Modi, I have a hope that this will end. Because now the youth, if you see Mr. Modi's victory, the biggest contributor to Mr. Modi's victory has been the youth. He is the person who's making use of the latest technology. He has used it for his election campaign. You can see it right now, the Prime Minister website coming up, very good website. I had been to that website.
Right.
And he's willing to listen to people. He's using technology to his advantage, which is a very good thing.
Yeah, Colonel Tewatia, I want to interrupt you for a second. We will continue this. I just want to bring in Abu, and we want to see from his point of view, someone being in close contact with the way Bangladeshi mindset is at this point of time with respect to what is happening in India. And allow me to recollect with you something which was not very pleasant. Of course, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, didn't attend, and not only that, there were some words, unpleasant expressions were exchanged during the election campaign between her and Prime Minister, now Prime Minister, at that time the candidate of Bharatiya Janata Party, Narendra Modi. So, and those exchanges were related to call them refugees from Bangladesh also. So just give us some inside perspective from Bangladesh point of view on this particular issue.
I think there is a refugee issue, no doubt about it. And Narendra Modi, when he was in a campaign, he promised that he will push them back to Bangladesh. Mamata Banerjee, she challenged him that, okay, this is not the way you're supposed to do it. So there is an ongoing, I think, tense between some issues of Bangladesh and India. Pushback, the refugee is one of the issue, and border issue as well. Because Bangladesh has, I think, a fourth of third, part of the Bangladesh with Indian border. When the election happened, I think I never seen that kind of coverage in Bangladeshi media, and also the curiosity of the people of Bangladesh about the Indian election. I born in Bangladesh, I was there, but I never seen that kind of curiosity and the coverage of Indian election. I think the curiosity and coverage, because of the importance of India's influence in our region. No doubt about it, India is one of the regional power in that area. Bangladesh has a lot of issue with India, and the present government who are in the power, Awami League, they have a very traditional relation with Congress. Since Indira Gandhi was in power, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was in power, Bangladesh Independent War and Congress, Indira Gandhi helped Bangladesh to be independent. So it's a very traditional relation with the present government. Since the new government came, there is a tense, what I found as a journalist, between the government and the opposition as well, that who will be the closer to there is a competition, I could say, both the government and the opposition, who could be the closer to the new administration.
In India?
In India. The Prime Minister of Bangladesh, she cannot attend in the ceremony because she has a previous appointment to Japan, to go to Japan, visit Japan. So she sent the Bangladesh speaker to attend the ceremony.
And you see her picture behind you right now?
Yeah, there is the picture also. There, this Speaker of Bangladesh Parliament, she is shaking the hand with the new Prime Minister. So I think all the Bangladeshis, they are absolutely, they have curiously watching the new government, and is there any changes coming? There is few issues as we talk. The refugee issue, there is one issue. Then the main issue is the water sharing. There is Tista water, Padma water. There is so many barrage built up by India, the upper level of the rivers. And this is one of the, I think, the politics of Bangladesh, who are anti-Indian, showing that we are anti-Indian, and if we go to the power, then this water sharing, everything will bargain with the government. Who are pro-Indian, if they go to the power, then they will, the country will be more,
So what I may derive from what we hear from Abu is, on the whole, the mood everywhere is we want to grow. I guess, be it Pakistan, be it Bangladesh, be it India, there is so much emphasis on increasing trade relationship between different nations, and how things will move. We already in 2 days have seen that there is a lot of shake-up happening, and there is willingness to move forward with speed. So how this speed is going to come by in the leadership of Narendra Modi, we have already started seeing many important questions being raised. There are some hopes, looks like, which will be realized, be it the reference of bringing back the black money. So there are many issues that we'll be talking about in today's show, and of course in the shows that would follow in Inside Tonight. But now is the time to take a short break, so don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
To advertise in this show, please call 347-653-1309.
Spirituality is the medium which frees our mind of all emotional shackles and temptations and guides us towards enlightenment and peace. Himali Spiritual Center is the gateway to liberation from pain, misery, and suffering. Here, through religion, meditation, yoga, worship, and gem therapy, all troubles are treated. Himali Spiritual Center, 718-887-2929.
Your eyes are the windows to your world. Trust your eyes to Malik Eye Care. This is where ophthalmology, optometry, and opticianry join under one roof to meet all your vision needs. Our offices house a plethora of state-of-the-art lasers and diagnostic equipment. I'm a board-certified ophthalmologist and a member of the American Academy of Ophthalmology, and also a fellow of the American College of Physicians and Surgeons. I've done thousands of ocular surgeries to restore vision to many patients. Consult our offices to see how we can improve your vision. We look forward to seeing you at your next appointment.
Shri Kali Mata astrologer Pandit Mahendra Guruji, with over 35 years of experience, he can help you with the relationship, business, family, children, health and more. Pandit Ji can perform all types of pujas. Pandit Mahendra Guruji is expert at removing black magic and giving protection. Guaranteed results. Call 347-833-3915.
वेलकम बैक, यू वाचिंग इनसाइड टुनाइट द शो व्यास। और कार्यक्रम के प्रारंभ में हम बात कर रहे हैं नरेंद्र मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में, जो उन्होंने पहला इनिशिएटिव एक तरह से लिया जब उन्होंने आमंत्रित कर दिया सार्क देशों के राष्ट्राध्यक्षों को, और दूसरे दिन उनके प्रधानमंत्री बनने के बाद उनकी मुलाकात बायलैटरल मीटिंग्स कई देशों के राष्ट्राध्यक्षों के साथ हुई, जिसमें महत्वपूर्ण निश्चित रूप से पाकिस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री नवाज शरीफ के साथ हुई उनकी बातचीत, और बातचीत लगभग 50-55 मिनट तक चली, जिसके बाद दोनों की तरफ से उसके सकारात्मक रहने की चर्चा की गई। और भारत में अपनी यात्रा के दौरान जहां प्रधानमंत्री नवाज शरीफ ने लाहौर बस यात्रा का जिक्र किया, वहीं वो कर्टसी विजिट के लिए उस समय प्रधानमंत्री रहे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी से मिलने के लिए भी गए। और स्टूडियो में जहां हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं बांग्लादेश के पत्रकार और संपादक अबू जी, and we were talking to him just before the break about the issue of refugees, Bangladeshi refugees. And Colonel Tawatia, you were posted and you have also found yourself interacting with infiltrators from Bangladesh towards India. Share with us where was that?
Ashokji, Bangladeshi refugee problem is not a problem of the Indian government or Bangladeshi government, to say the least. Mm-hmm. It's a law and order problem to my perspective, because there are a lot of agents on either side of the border, those who take money from these people and they want to show them that they will get you good jobs and all. It's kind of a business kind of a thing.
I see.
And I have, in my service, I captured so many Bangladeshi refugees at Ganga-Rajasthan border, trying to migrate to infiltrate into Pakistan.
I see.
But they come from Bangladesh to Calcutta, and from there they are taken to various trains and all, and the various agents trade hand in between. So it's kind of a business kind of thing, and both Indian and the Bangladeshi government should address it as such, because it's not good for either country.
Now, Abu, let me just interrupt you and request Abu to chip in with his personal experiences of having interacted with some people in Bangladesh. Is there something that is compelling some of the Bangladeshis to leave Bangladesh and go to maybe Pakistan or India? Do you see?
There is some people in Pakistan and ongoing problem in the Indian border, the refugees going there. But I think no one is going there for any other reason than mostly about 99.9%. I think because of the economic cause, because people goes there to get the job and might be they can work and get some money and then come back, or they can send their money to back to their country. And also there is some other people who are, say, about minority in Bangladesh, Hindus. So when they migrate to Bangladesh to India, mostly they don't come back. They stay there, mostly in Calcutta, I found. So, and then I don't have any idea about the routes to Pakistan. As he mentioned, might be there is something by train or somewhere they can go to Pakistan. And I don't know what is the perspective of the going to Pakistan, you know, because I think in Pakistan the situation is not good in Bangladesh. They are sometimes, I think, in worse situation than Bangladesh in terms of the living condition, in terms of the economy, in terms of the environment and the terrorism and all these things. I don't find any reports that there is a refugee there was en route to Pakistan and they catch by the border security and put back to Bangladesh. Rather, we found most of the people there en route to India. And then there is some incident happens, say about BSF, sometimes they shoot them, and few people, there is a girl who was killed when she trying to pass the border. And it was a tense between the border, Indian border and Bangladesh border as well, many times. So, I mean, if I conclude this thing, that would be, my conclusion would be who are going there, most of the people going there is an economic refugee, and they are trying to get the job, making some money, and then feeding their poor, relative. And then some people who are the minority, sometimes they thought maybe they can migrate from there to India.
So the basic thing is, wherever you are, whichever part of the world you are, you want to lead a life full of respect, and you want to take care of yourself and your family. And somehow we believe that if there is collective focus on resolving conflicts, it definitely helps one and all. So I'll put Colonel Tawatia on hold, and I'll try to connect with one of our viewers who is trying to reach us. Hello, ITV Live. Namaskar. Can you hear us?
Yes, that's the show. This is Dr. Cooker.
Dr. Cooker, sir, welcome.
I was watching the show. I must say I respectfully will add a little bit to Abu Tahir's statement.
Sure.
I think to the best of information available, many of the minorities are leaving Bangladesh, one for economic reason, but a large segment is also leaving Bangladesh because the minorities are being forcibly converted into Islam and their temples are being destroyed. And not only that, there 2 or 3 years ago, there was such a rampant rape of Hindu women in there. And it has been documented by Canadian Human Rights Group, it has been documented by American Congress, it has been documented by Hindu American Foundation. Just thought I'll let your viewers know.
I appreciate your call, and let me just see if Abu, I know that he has been in America for many years, but since he is keeping close contact with Bangladesh, from the point of the minorities, what are your impressions as far as the condition in Bangladesh?
Yeah, as he mentioned that there is no doubt there is an incident happened before and now even happened. Previously, when BNP and Jamaat Islam was in power, and then the minority people thought because BNP is a pro-right-wing party and Jamaat Islam is a pro-Islamic party, so they are in a danger in their regime. There is an incident happened at that time, no doubt about it. But and then when Awami League came power, most of the time Awami League got the boot from minorities, especially the Hindus. Every time people thought the Awami League get about more than 90% vote from Hindus because the minority people, they always thought the Awami League is closer than any other party in Bangladesh. But when Awami League in the power, same thing happened. Okay, so the question is how it's happened, why it's happened. There is if you, watch all this thing, then finally you will find most of the incident happened because there is some corrupt and political culprit. They want to take advantage of the minority people. They blame the other, political blame and all this thing, but basically they want to occupy their lands or so and so. And when they want to do it, they want to, terrorize the people. So when you want to terrorize, then the rape happen, the burning happen, all these things happen. But I think if you talk about the whole culture and the environment, then I found most of the people, they are very peace-loving. They live together. Even if you talk about me, my house and about a couple of Hindus' house, we are neighbor. And when they have a pujas, then we went to their house. When we have a Eid, they come to our house. We celebrate together. We never seen any incident ever in our life. But things happen, what he said. And I don't think that this is a picture of whole Bangladesh. I think this is a picture of some corrupt culprit, and they take the advantage. And if the government and the opposition as well, the whole society is very concerned and aware of it, then it's not going to happen.
So, Abu, I understand what you're saying, and I think that's a very logical thing to see that some incidences should not be seen to portray the complete nation or complete group or complete community, but unfortunately that's what happens everywhere. That's what happens everywhere, even in India.
I agree with him, it's happened. And I was also, as he mentioned that in Congress there was a hearing, I was there also in this hearing. There is a couple of human rights organizations, they are very vocal against this incident, whoever in the power, and I am also very concerned about it, because I could be Hindu, I could be Muslim, someone could be Christian or Jewish, but everybody have their own right to stay together. They have to work shoulder to shoulder. They have to have the equal rights. It's not that I'm a Muslim, I should have more right than the Hindus. No, this is not the way it's supposed to be a country. And I think in Bangladesh, the constitution and everything allow everyone to have their equal rights. But things happen, what he mentioned.
Dr. Kukar, since you are closely observing the rise of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and such a thumping majority with the present regime, you are with us, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the question is, we have often heard people saying that Indian government should be more vocal as far as minority rights in Pakistan and Bangladesh is concerned. Do you think there will be some shift in the present government from this point of view?
Ashok, if you want to maintain a secular democracy in India and you want it to thrive, you have to be surrounded by secular democracies as your neighbors. If you have Islamic states on your borders where the minorities are being persecuted and prosecuted, it is not good for India. It is not good for secular democracy. We do not have the right to interfere in their way of life, but we have every right to complain. We have every right to tell them they are not being faithful and fair to the minorities. And I don't want to get into the constitution of Pakistan, which does not even allow non-Muslims to contest more than few seats. Bangladesh is even a disaster basket for Hindus, and Pakistan is no better for Hindus.
So that is, once again, before we take the...
Unfortunately, the truth according to the bodies who investigate these things.
Yeah. So, Dr. Kukar, I appreciate your contribution. And before we move towards the first break, the next break, Abu, do you see potentially a positive environment with the change in India?
I think definitely there is the positive, views to the Bangladeshi people as well. I mean, definitely, they are thinking the present government, new government. When the new government came, there will be a change come, and the change is, I think for the interest of the India, they have to see what is their neighbor problem. And because they are the biggest country in that region, and when you are big, then you have to see what is the problem of your neighbors, and is there any you are cause of any problem of your neighbor, and if you can open your heart and see how we can resolve the issue, then I think it is even good for the India.
So I think keeping interest of the whole region in mind, the new initiative on the foreign relations front, which has come right at the beginning of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's swearing-in ceremony. It is worth appreciating. What do you say, Dr. Kukard?
No, I think it's always good to be friendly to your neighbors. It's always good to be nice, but at the same time, that does not mean that you should give up your legitimate concerns about the people, how the minorities are treated.
I think हिंदी में बात करें तो जो उन्होंने पहले कहा था कि आंख नीची करके बात नहीं करनी है, आंख ऊंची करके भी बात नहीं करनी है, आंख मिला के बात करनी है. So I think he respects the equal footage or having on this at par in continuation of the relationship. So we'll continue our conversation right after this break.
To advertise in this show, please call 347-653-1309.
Spirituality is the medium which frees our mind of all emotional shackles and temptations and guides us towards enlightenment and peace. Himali Spiritual Center is the gateway to liberation from pain, misery and suffering. Here, through religion, meditation, yoga, worship and gem therapy, all troubles are treated. Himali Spiritual Center, 718-887-2929.
This is Iftikhar Ahmed Chaudhary, homeopathic and herbal expert in North America for the last 25 years. Are you sick and tired of allopathic medicine side effects? Try homeopathic and herbal medicine. Call for free consultation 718-396-3600 or go to our website homeopathicusa.net.
I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani.
And I'm your immigration attorney David Nachman.
Keep watching us, our program on immigration and you.
For the latest information, updates and developments about immigration law.
Every Saturday at 8:15 p.m.
And wake up to us on Sunday at 11:45 a.m.
Consult Swami Manjeet Ji for accurate horoscope reading, palm reading and likelihood of love, marriage, children, business, health, immigration and court cases. Swamiji removes black magic, gives protection and helps in removing various problems by powerful holy mantras and meditation on God. Free check of black magic. Excellent results. Call 718-358-2901. The number again, 718-358-2901.
वेलकम बैक. यू वाचिंग इनसाइड टुनाइट द शो ग्यास. और अब हमारे साथ न्यू जर्सी से स्काइप पर हैं अनूप भार्गव भी. सो लेट मी वेलकम अनूप जी. अनूप जी, आपका स्वागत है.
नमस्कार अशोक जी, धन्यवाद.
और आज के कार्यक्रम में जब हम प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी द्वारा लिए गए नए इनिशिएटिव्स की चर्चा कर रहे हैं, हम उनके द्वारा जो सार्क नेताओं को निमंत्रण दिए जाने की बात करते करते वी वांट टू मूव टुवर्ड्स सम ऑफ द cabinet ministers, and I want to open this conversation with you by the reference of स्मृति ईरानी. एक तो आप कवि हैं और स्मृति ईरानी अभिनेत्री के रूप में जानी जाती रही, छोटी बहू के रूप में उनकी बड़ी ख्याति रही. छोटी बहू थी कि बड़ी बहू थी वो?
पता नहीं मुझे.
चलिए, तो बहरहाल बट देयर हैज बीन सम रेफरेंस, और अजय माखेन एक कांग्रेस के जो लीडर हैं उनका कहना है कि ये खुद पढ़ी लिखी नहीं और इनको ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डिपार्टमेंट दे दिया है. आप क्या सोचते हैं इस बारे में?
नहीं अशोक जी, मेरा सोचना है कि बड़ा गैर जिम्मेदाराना उनका वक्तव्य है, क्योंकि मंत्री की दक्षता केवल उसकी शिक्षा से नहीं आंकी जानी चाहिए. मैंने स्मृति ईरानी जी को जितना भी सुना है, हिंदी में, अंग्रेजी में, बड़े धारा प्रवाह, दोनों ही भाषाओं में धारा प्रवाह बोलती हैं और बड़े सुलझे हुए विचार मुझे लगते हैं. तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि सिर्फ स्नातक न होना उनके लिए एक किसी तरह की कोई ड्रॉबैक होगा या कोई कमी उसमें महसूस होगी. सोचना है कि एक भ्रष्ट पढ़े लिखे आदमी को बनाने की बजाय अगर कम पढ़ा लिखा आदमी अगर ईमानदार हो और अपनी पूरी जिम्मेदारी से काम करे तो मैं उसे वरीयता दूंगा.
So
आपसे मुझे कोई इसमें गलत बात नहीं लगती.
Let me have Abu also comment on it. It's a general thing. Sometimes people feel that if you are not formally educated, then you are not qualified to function on XYZ position. So in this case, Indian Prime Minister has appointed Smriti Irani as Human Resource Minister, and she is not highly qualified. So there were some people objecting to it. So generally speaking, what do you think? The formal qualification matters in discharging of the duties of such?
I don't think the formal qualification matters, but if someone have the formal qualification, that's help.
Absolutely.
Definitely, it's a plus. But when you want to work for the people, then experience, I think, matters, and that's the main should be main focus.
So Anupji, I want to put you on hold for a second, and I'll talk to one of our viewers. Hello, ITV Live.
Hi, how are you?
Very nice. आप कैसे हैं?
देखो
जी जी बोले।
हाँ, मैं एक चुनाव के बारे में एक कविता पढ़ना चाहता हूँ।
जी थोड़ा सा तेज कर दें, आप फोन के समीप आ जाएं, बोलें। जी जल्दी जल्दी करें।
चुनाव का नतीजा आया, मतदारों ने भाजपा को बहुमत दिलाया, खिला कमल का फूल, दिग्गजों की हुई डिपॉजिट डोल, कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी, बुरी तरह कांग्रेस हारी, झाड़ू लेके सफाई करने निकले केजरीवाल, आम आदमी पार्टी का हुआ बेहाल, केसरिया ध्वज लहराया, सपा बसपा का हुआ सफाया, एडिसन, जर्सी सिटी, टाइम स्क्वायर, सब जगह मोदी की लहर, लोगों बांटे लड्डू मिठाई, ओबामा ने दी बधाई, विजय मनाने मोदी लोग नाचे झूमे, नरेंद्र मोदी लोकसभा को चूमे।
क्या बात है, ये आप ही ने लिखी है क्या कविता? बहुत ही अच्छी थी कविता, धन्यवाद। जी जी बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया। सो अनूप जी, इंटरेस्टिंगली यू प्रॉब्ली कुडंट हियर, बट हमारे एक दर्शक ने कविता सुनाई जिसका संबंध चुनावों से था, और उस कविता को याद करते हुए मुझे स्मरण आया कुमार विश्वास जी अमेठी में अपना नाम आगे नहीं ले जा सके, एंड एट द सेम टाइम टुडे देयर इज अनदर रेफरेंस एंड सिंस यू हैव क्लोजली फॉलोड द आम आदमी पार्टी, तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जिन्होंने पहले बेल लेकर बाहर रहने से मना कर दिया था, कुछ दिन जेल में बिताने के बाद आज उन्होंने ये बात मान ली है। सो हाउ डू यू फील दिस इज गोइंग टू प्ले आउट फॉर हिम एज वेल एज फॉर आम आदमी पार्टी?
अशोक जी, मैंने आज की खबर नहीं पढ़ी है, लेकिन मैंने उससे पहले जो उन्होंने तर्क दिया था बेल न लेने का,
जी,
वो मैंने उनको फॉलो किया था। तो नहीं, मुझे कुछ अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है। मैं आम आदमी पार्टी का काफी समर्थन किया था मैंने, और उनसे बहुत कुछ आशाएं थी
जी,
लेकिन हाल ही में उनके व्यवहार से और उनके मुझे कुछ थोड़ी निराशा हुई है।
जी जी, तो आपकी ये निराशा वाली जो बात है उसके साथ जुड़े हुए कुछ महत्वपूर्ण नेताओं ने, शाजिया इल्मी और कैप्टन गोपीनाथ जी ने भी आम आदमी पार्टी की बेसिक सदस्यता से त्यागपत्र दे दिया, and this was just a news today because he changed his mind, or maybe because some people advised him that there is a procedure that needs to be followed, तो उन्होंने finally वो 10,000 रुपये जमा करा दी, and I think आज वो रिहा हो गए होंगे। But moving forward, and there is an important area, whichever country you are residing in, which deals with black money. So before your comment about the new initiative by Modi government, which has formed a special investigative task force to pursue and get black money, which is probably somewhere outside India too. So what do you think about this initiative? And I just wanted Abu, who is from Bangladesh, do you see a lot of issues related to black money in Bangladesh also?
There is definitely is a issue, but it's not a lot of issue. And I think it is not a issue of individual. It's a social issue, you know, and political as well. Because whoever come to the government, they have some people who are very strong, some business people, some politician. You know, they are very close to the government, and sometimes they did it. It's regardless who, you know, Awami League or BNP in the power. It's happened. I think if the concerned authority, if they are really very, sensitive about it and they want to stop it, they can do it. And also, I think the border is as we talked before, the border is one of the issues as well. But in our subcontinent, the police or BDR or border security force in both sides, they have some bribe issue. I mean, we cannot remove this, all of a sudden. It's an ongoing problem, and it's happened. So I think gradually it will be, eliminated. But the thing is happening,
So back to you, Anup ji. जो आम आदमी पार्टी की हम चर्चा कर रहे थे, somehow it comes back because of the reference of भ्रष्टाचार. उनका ये था कि करप्शन हटाने का मुद्दा लेकर एक तरह से जन आंदोलन की तरह जो बात अन्ना हजारे के नेतृत्व में निकली थी, वो बाद में थोड़ा थोड़ा अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने उस बहाव को आम आदमी पार्टी की शक्ल दे दी थी. बहरहाल लिविंग दैट रेफरेंस, कमिंग टू ब्लैक मनी एंड अप्रोच ऑफ मोदी सरकार towards digging out black money, कितना आपको ये promising लगता है initiative?
अशोक जी, पहले before I get to that, let me briefly comment on that. आपने जो आम आदमी पार्टी का बोला,
जी,
तो मेरा ये सोचना है कि जो मुद्दा उन्होंने भ्रष्टाचार का उठाया था,
जी,
वो उनकी असफलता के बावजूद भी उतना ही महत्वपूर्ण है जितना पहले था. और ये
नहीं, इनफैक्ट जो आपने कही है उसी बात को मानते हुए मैं इस दिशा में लाया था कि मोदी जी ने भी पहले ये वादा किया था कि वो जो काला धन है विदेशों से वो भी लाएंगे. सो दिस इज एन एक्सटेंशन ऑफ करप्ट मनी और मूविंग टुवर्ड्स क्लीनलीनेस.
Absolutely, and there is no question that this should be welcome, because the corrupt money is not just affecting few people. The corruption causes many other problems. For example, even the inflation, which we talk about as one of the serious problems, is related to corruption and the black money which is going abroad. So definitely that needs to be tackled at a high level, and I'm happy that the Modi government on the very first day they have taken a step. अब उसमें उन्हें कितनी सफलता मिलेगी इसके बारे में मुझे अभी कहना मुश्किल है, क्योंकि पहला कदम उठाना आसान है, लेकिन जो समस्याएं हैं इससे जुड़ी हुई वो समय ही बताएगा. तो मैं चाहता हूं कि उन्हें इसमें सफलता मिले, और ये निश्चित रूप से बेहतर कदम है, कोई दो राय नहीं हो सकती इसके बारे में.
जो आपने कहा ना कि ये पहला कदम है, और मुझे ऐसा सुनने में आया, एक पत्रकार भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रमुख नेता से पूछ रहे थे कि आप कह रहे थे अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं, अच्छे दिन कब आएंगे? तो जिस पहले दिन जो शपथ लेकर मंत्री बने ही है, वो इस बारे में क्या कह सकते हैं? तो धैर्य रखना तो आपकी बात सही है कि आवश्यक है, पर बोलने का जो महत्व है, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स जो हैं, नॉट ओनली मेकिंग यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी बट हाउ यू प्रेजेंट योर थॉट्स, उसकी बड़ी महिमा है. ये बात जो वर्तमान मंत्रिमंडल है उसको देखकर भी लगता है, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के जो मुख्य प्रवक्ता रहे थे, जिनको हम लोग बार बार टेलीविजन चैनल्स पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की तरफ से बोलते हुए देखते रहे, चाहे वो प्रकाश उनका लास्ट नेम बाडवेडेकर क्या है, हाँ वो हैं, या फिर ये स्मृति ईरानी भी रही थी, फिर एक वो सीता जी हैं. तो मुझे लगता है जो स्पोक्स पर्सन हैज नाउ become a very important position as a step towards becoming minister. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
नहीं, दोनों ही जो सत्ता में आने से पहले जो स्पोक्स पर्सन जो हैं, वही एक मेरा ख्याल है कि एक महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका अदा करते हैं, क्योंकि पार्टी की जो नीतियां हैं, किस राह पर वो चलना चाहती हैं, वो स्पोक्स पर्सन के द्वारा ही बताया जाता है. तो मुझे कोई आश्चर्य नहीं है कि वही लोग जो कि पार्टी की नीतियों को बतला रहे थे, अब वो पार्टी की नीतियों को बनाएंगे. तो इसमें कोई आश्चर्य की बात मुझे नहीं लग रही है.
जी जी.
और अच्छा कदम है. और जहां तक आपने कहा कि पहले ही दिन तो हम केवल अपनी जो जो हमारी आशाएं हैं, जो हम करना चाहते हैं, उसको बता रहे हैं केवल। तो मुझे कुंवर बेचैन साहब की 2 पंक्तियां याद आ रही हैं, अगर आप इजाजत दें।
स्वागत है।
बेचैन जी कहते हैं कि किसी भी काम को करने से पहले चाहें आती हैं।
किसी भी काम को करने से पहले
चाहें आती हैं।
जी।
अगर बच्चे को गोदी लो तो पहले बाहें आती हैं।
क्या बात है, क्या बात है।
तो यही मैं सोचता हूं कि काम करने में तो समय लगेगा, लेकिन उसकी इच्छा या उसकी चाह जो होनी चाहिए वो हमें दिखानी है। और मेरे अनुसार ये एक अच्छा कदम है कि पहले ही दिन इस कमेटी का गठन किया गया और इसके विषय में एक कदम उठाया गया।
तो कुछ घटनाओं के होने से पहले उनकी संभावना को लेकर परिवर्तन आने लग जाते हैं बाजार में। जैसे रुपया स्ट्रांग होने लग गया, जैसे मोदी सरकार के आने की आहटें हुई, उसके पीछे क्या इक्वेशंस काम करती होगी वो समझना बहुत मुश्किल है। पर दूसरा एक और प्रभाव ये हुआ कि जैसे ये नई मजबूत सरकार भारत में स्थापित हुई है तो सोने के दाम भी कुछ गिरने लगे हैं। So there are some changes which have something to do with the psychology of the people or people's perception. So perception becomes palpable. It starts generating some solid effects. What would you say?
Well, at one point the perception becomes reality. So, and even the perception has to be created. So before the election, I would say the BJP did a wonderful job in marketing their thoughts. And again, these steps that they are showing is also the right step in creating the right perception. And market is reacting to that.
So talking about the reactions, let me ask you about the coalition which is actually not required to form the government, but Bharatiya Janata Party this time around they had some pre-poll alliances, so they are honoring और उस हिसाब से भी मंत्रिमंडल में कुछ सीटों का स्थान रखा गया। उसमें से शिवसेना के हिस्से जो अनंत गीते जी को हैवी इंडस्ट्रीज और पब्लिक एंटरप्राइज अलॉट की गई मिनिस्ट्री, उसको लेके शिवसेना ने नाराजगी जाहिर की है। And let me also recollect with you and Abu that when the invitation to Pakistani Prime Minister went from Narendra Modi's government, they objected, and first they were planning to have showing of black flags or something like that, which was prevented by preemptive measures and some consensus that the guests are to be respected was built. पर ये इशू कैसे रिजॉल्व होता दिखाई दे रहा है आपको कि एक जो मंत्रालय दिया गया है तो फिर मोदी किसको मंत्री बनाए इसके बारे में वो सहयोगी दलों के दबाव में आके काम करेंगे, तो मोदी सरकार उस तरह की नहीं रहेगी जैसा कि छवि दिखाई जाती रही है।
तो अशोक जी, पहले तो मैं ये बात स्पष्ट कर दूं कि मैं चुनाव से पहले मोदी जी का बहुत बड़ा समर्थक नहीं था
जी,
लेकिन मुझे खुशी है कि उन्हें जो बहुमत मिला है वो पूर्ण बहुमत मिला है, और उसका परिणाम ये होगा कि उन्हें दूसरे दलों पर निर्भर नहीं रहना पड़ेगा, जो कि उनकी सरकार को स्थिरता देंगे और उन्हें लॉन्ग टर्म डिसीजंस लेने में सहायता देंगे, जो कि पिछले सरकार के साथ संभव नहीं था। तो मुझे खुशी है एक तरह से कि मोदी सरकार को पूर्ण बहुमत मिला है और वो सफलता और असफलता दोनों के लिए बराबर से जिम्मेवार ठहराए जाएंगे।
बिल्कुल,
उनके पास कोई एक्सक्यूज हम लोगों ने नहीं छोड़ा है सफलता के लिए।
So I just interrupt you for a second, Anup ji, and there is a very important role that media plays in making things happen and in keeping the government on the right track. So somehow, as soon as you have started appreciating, in Indian media also, we heard many of them were so critical. They almost were on the verge of using abusive language for Narendra Modi. Now they have started appreciating him. But what I want to ask Abu is, how do you see the freedom of the press in Bangladesh?
I think the Bangladesh is a democratically the elected government. They are running the country. The country is constitution allow the freedom of press, freedom of expression. I think there is couple of hundred daily newspaper is publishing from Bangladesh. About 22 television channel instead of one. Used to be only one Bangladesh government channel. Now about 22 channels. But still I could say there is some social object which is problem of the freedom of press. Say about some people who might be there very close to the government, very powerful. If any newspaper or journalist, they criticize them, they come after them, or big business people, or sometimes some government ministers. But it is not the overall policy of the government.
So I would like you to have the concluding remarks with respect to the role of press during the election and now as you see Anupji in India.
अशोक जी, प्रेस का रोल तो वही है कि it has to work as a watch guard, and actually it becomes more important. As I said, I'm happy that the Modi government got the full majority, but at the same time, I'm also concerned that there is no viable opposition at this time. So in the absence of the viable opposition, it becomes more important for the press to play that role and make sure that things are done within the boundary and no misuse of the power happens.
Wonderful. So keep them honest, and honestly speaking, tomorrow also we'll have an important discussion dealing with similar issues that are coming from the initiatives that are being taken by Modi Sarkar. I appreciate the presence of Bangla Patrika's editor Abuji with us. Colonel Virendra Tewatia earlier joined us, and Anup Bhargavji. Thank you very much for being with us, and this is a very exciting phase in India, and probably there is a lot of positive action happening, and again a lot of checks and balances are required. Hopefully we'll have all of them. Looking forward to being with you tomorrow, and thanks for joining us today. This is Ashok Vyas.